Alrighty, time for the back nine. We are three over after the front nine, not so hot. We have a few scoring holes coming up, so hopefully we get back into it and get the score looking a little better. But as you guys saw in the front nine, the ball striking was pretty good, just the putting was no bueno. And typically, when you don't start a putting round or a round of golf putting very well, it doesn't really change through the round unless you try and do something different. And your boy really had no clue how to really fix it. So yeah, the putting on the back nine may not be that great either. But ball striking still really good. And a nice tee shot down the center left side of the fairway. I think it barely clipped the tree, but if anything, as you guys saw, it kind of made it around the corner. It's kind of a cool hole with a lot of mounds in the driving area. So it's basically like the hole's like a give or take. If you try and cut off a lot of the hole like I did with driver, it's a little narrow and there's a lot of mounds, so it's hard to get a flat lie. So as you see, the ball is like way above my feet on a 50-yardish shot. So I got my 58 degree. I'm going to try and chop one on the front of the green here. Ideally, you keep the ball below the hole, but because I'm really just not trying to go short, this goes a little long, and this is absolutely massively downhill. You can barely see it really again with the camera angles, but you kind of see how it's like pointing towards the ground. You can see the front of the green in the ditch. So I hit actually a really good putt here, kind of right on line. You see how the ball is rolling end over end. Just misjudged it a little bit. It rolled over almost the edge, and then it just kept rolling and rolled by like 8 feet, or I'd say 6 to 8 feet by the hole. That's how slippery that putt was, and that's really I felt like that was a scoring opportunity, so I was a little aggressive on the line and the putt, and sadly, it just didn't work out for me. So if it goes in, then it's obviously a great thing. If it doesn't, then I got some meat on a bone like this, and with how my putting's going, not the best of leaves. Thankfully, it's pretty straight up the hill, so it's just about putting a good stroke on the putt here and really having confidence in hitting my line, which, again, all day has not been the case. I had it going just a little right because down the hill it went a little left and didn't really read it correctly, I guess. And yeah, made a three putt again. I think that's three putt what? Three putt number? Well, I mean, we haven't three putted that much yet, but the putting definitely hasn't been great yet. We missed a lot of shorties and a lot of scoring opportunities kind of left without really good fortune. So again, tee shot game, really good. Hole number 11, it's kind of straightforward. You can see there's a group in front of me on the green, so going to be trying to pass these guys. But yeah, they're very nice and letting me play through on the next hole, so wasn't really worried about no excuses on this hole as far as like playing fast like we were earlier. As you saw, the ball kind of goes straight to the right here. I pushed a little bit, but again, it was like kind of a small push draw, so it catches the right side of the fairway. Not my best shot all day, obviously. It was a little into the wind, but as you can see, yardage-wise, it wasn't that great of a contact, and it was a little flubby, kind of spinny. So only ran 270. And this is kind of a long hole. I got about 185 yards to the flag, and I'm hitting into the wind. So I believe I have 6-iron because it's a downhill lie, and I don't want to go long. So I'm trying to kind of hit it pretty hard, and I get quick on the transition. And as you see, for those who are watching on PC, you should be able to see the ball, but it kind of hooked to the left and ended up being in the rough. And again, we have these kind of sticky Bermuda lies. You see the ball's kind of sitting down. Even when I chomp the grass away, you can see how it's kind of like chunky coming off. It's not really like blades of grass. It's like mutts of grass. So I kind of have to go digging after this one. My goal is to land it just barely in the front of the green, which I do pretty well, but it was landing downhill and absolutely just kept rolling and never stopped and got to the other side of the green. So we got an uphill here, breaking right to left for par. We're going to try and put a good putt on it, and we actually stroked that pretty well, but underread it a little bit. And the ball, like, again, I don't know exactly, like maybe someone who's watching this is very knowledgeable about putting and can tell me maybe the loft of my putter is not great, but I feel like something in the stroke I'm doing is not promoting good ball roll, especially when I put like putts uphill where I try to be aggressive to the stroke. It seems like my ball is skidding a lot before it goes into the roll, and that affects break and how you're adjusting your lines and whatnot, and it makes it really hard to kind of put a consistent roll on the ball where it's tracking where you're trying to hit it. But yeah, another bogey, not the back nine start we wanted, back-to-back bogeys. It's again, the score is just getting worse and worse at this point, so this is kind of it's the same hole. It's basically almost like the same hole we had just coming back. Probably the only two holes on the golf course that kind of look alike, but absolutely smashed one down the middle here. I put a little anger in that one and put it down 310 down the middle. Big shot here for me. I'm like really trying to salvage a birdie on this hole because this is kind of a scoring opportunity. The next hole is very difficult. I don't think I've parred that hole once, and you'll see why when we get to it. But trying to hit a little pitching wedge, not full, like kind of like a 90% pitching wedge here. I hit a good shot, but I pulled it just a smidge. I might have been aiming there, to be honest. I'm not entirely sure why. I mean, my ball striking was really good, so my confidence in the lines I would take should have been kind of more aggressive towards the flag, especially how my putting is. Um, but not ideal. So we got a downhiller left to righter. Actually put a really good putt on it, just didn't really put enough speed. But as you saw, kind of like the black line on the putt kind of will tell you if I hit a good putt or not. If it's rolling end over end, you'll see the line kind of roll over itself. But yeah, like a kick and par, no complaints here. Going to this hole, probably the hardest hole on the golf course in my opinion. It's 600 yards from the tips. It plays into the wind. It's a pretty narrow tee shot. The tee shot's a little more forgiving, but the second shot is basically a guaranteed layup. But it's basically as wide as a green. So it's almost like you're hitting driver, and you're hitting like a 5 or a 4 iron into a section that is basically as wide as the green that you're going to be aiming to after. And if you don't hit that section on your layup shot, then you lose your ball because it's basically shit right and left. So it makes the hole very challenging. And as you can see, there's like water. There's like a big ditch in front of the green. So if you actually try and be aggressive and get close to the green on your second shot, you get no love. I pull one a little bit here. As you saw, I kind of re-teed my ball. There was like some weird slopes where my footing was, but my ball hit off that slope you see on the right side of the screen here and kicked off and ended up, you can't even see the ball right now. It was this pretty deep one. But thankfully, it was kind of not really thick grass. It was fluffy. It was long, but it was fluffy, so I was able to kind of punch one out. And the beauty of Texas is the ball rolls forever, so I hit like a 5-iron punch from a shitty lie about 180 yards. It probably carried like 140 at tops, and it just got a ton of roll. And I put the right shape, a little draw on it to get it back into play. So it's actually, this is a really good position. As you can see how narrow it is up this section, if I missed a little right, then it probably would roll into the trees with the slope going that way, and it's the same thing on the left. But this is obviously a shot where I'm trying to hit the green and 2-putt and get out of here with a 5. That's really, really exciting. I've been actually, my misses today have been left so far. I try and be a little aggressive here, aim right at the flag, but I push one to the right. As you can see, the pin being tucked on the left, the aggressive kind of line, I probably should have just aimed a little right and trying to push it back in or hit a little draw, and I've probably been more comfortable with how I've been hitting the ball so far today. But a little wildlife there in the background, a little mosquito bothering me in the leg. That's just enough to keep my putting who's going, you know, no excuses. But yeah, this is absolutely atrocious. As you can see, though, one thing I want to talk about in Bermuda grass, as you can see, you can see the coloration of the grass. You see how it's kind of like light for the midsection, and then it gets darker after. And that's grain. For those who don't understand what grain is on Bermuda, is the grass grows in different directions, and because the blades of grass on the light colored is going away from you and the dark colored is coming towards you, and that putt was like slightly downhill to start. I thought this putt was going to be fast as hell, especially 2 or 3 holes ago when we put it downhill and the ball never stopped. I was kind of expecting something similar, so but I massively underread the speed of the putt, and I actually put a good second putt here, but just missed it an inch low, and then another 3-putt, and I don't even want to put this ball in the hole this time. I'm like, get me out of here. Just about to just toss this putter in the woods and just putt with my wedge for the rest of the round, but yeah, that puts us a gnarly, I think, was it 6? I might have messed, yeah, I think it's 6 over. So yeah, it's not ideal. 6 over after, was it 13 holes, but we have a few scoring holes coming up, so it's not the worst thing. This hole and 18 are very birdieable holes if you put the ball in play. So a really nice angle here from the tee shot. It's going to smoke one a little low beamer towards the middle of the fairway. Again, my driving has been on point all day. I think I missed maybe like 1 or 2 fairways tops. So that left us a little, it was into the wind a little bit. I hit that one pretty well, but it's pretty low, so it only went 275. I think the front of the green's like 315, so if ever I catch the hole downwind, I might be able to make it. But yeah, little kind of 60-yard, 65-yard shot here with a wedge. I'm just going to like give it a little pitch. Typically I hit low spinners here, but I'm going to get this one a little loft because the pin was kind of like behind the bunker. And I hit a perfect shot that just ended up being, as you can see, like 5 feet short below the hole, a putt straight up the hill. If I'm going to make any putts today, it's this one, because if I don't make this, I would probably lose full and just never play golf again. But thankfully, yeah, boy, yeah, down the middle, the birdie, a little fist bump, a little smile, excitement. You know, you got to enjoy the small victories. So yeah, we pull back down to 5 over. Birdie's always nice. You can't really, I mean, you can kind of see with the shot here, as you see, you can't really see the ground because it's an uphill tee shot. It's actually a really cool par 3. It's not a long one, but I got a 9-iron. One thing that's kind of, I mean, it's not weird, but as you see, the ball's teed up pretty high typically, and I didn't have a short tee, and my long tee wouldn't go too deep, so I just kind of roll with the punches. But as you can see, I'm having alignment issues. My alignment's aiming a little too far left for my liking. and I ended up actually missing a little left of the green. You kind of saw the ball drop where that card is on the background, so it was a little short, little left. Short would have been totally fine. If I would have been towards the flag where I am, I would have been put pretty much straight up the hill. But now I got kind of a, it's not, I mean, it's pretty makeable, pretty easy up and down. A player of a decent caliber should be able to put this up and down like 9 times out of 10. So I got a 54 degree. I don't use my 58 for chips like this, short ones. I'm actually trying to hit like kind of a low spinner roller, a shot that's just going to kind of bite a little bit and release. I executed a shot really well. I just kind of misjudged the bite it was going to have on the first bounce. So it just kind of landed soft and then just kind of bit and kicked to the right. But I'm still below the hole, which is ideal. I just made a putt on the last hole, and this one's pretty straight and actually about the same distance. So mentally, I'm pretty confident I can put this one in. And that's a huge thing with putting. And for those who kind of are getting into golf or have played golf, it's a lot of kind of rhythm and really making sure that your stroke is on. And when your stroke is on, you're making good putts. The hole gets a lot bigger. So after just making a putt, I'm feeling a little more confident about my stroke here. I may have tweaked something in my stroke, and then I put a really good roll. As you saw, a ball again rolling end over end, hits the middle of the flag. Easy par. We're out of here and on to probably the second most difficult hole on the back nine after that par 5. This is a hole I believe I think this is my 3rd round on this golf course. On the 2 rounds previously, I'm pretty sure I made bogey and double bogey. So kind of a nemesis. It's kind of crazy because the tee shot's pretty wide, but there is water in the background that technically isn't reachable unless you get a lot of roll. But for whatever reason, I just always seem to pull this tee shot into the trees on the left. So I started on line, but I got a little ahead of it and a little quick in transition again. And I hit a little hooker that went towards the trees on the left side. Thankfully, I still got a shot at the green. I got about 180 yards to the front, 195 flag pin. So I got a 4-iron. The ball's a little below, or the ball's a little above my feet, but I'm kind of hitting on the downhill slope. So this is kind of ideal for a draw, which is honestly what the shot shape of the hole is asking for. So as you see, a little low draw that I'm trying to land at the front of the green. I execute the shot perfectly, and it actually releases once it bounces. You can't really see the ball track, but it's basically rolling pin high, 5 feet to the right of the hole, which is perfect. I mean, I couldn't ask for a better shot there to kind of give myself a chance to even make a birdie. I mean, we were talking about par a couple of minutes ago, and now we're talking about making a birdie. So, again, a huge kind of this would be a big bonus because it's not a hole that I expect to get a stroke back on. So I'm going to feel out the putt again. This is the Aim Point Express for those who didn't watch the first part of this video. I feel out the slope with my feet instead of using my eyes to read a putt. I kind of use my eyes too, but obviously I kind of, I guess I confer to my feet kind of feel to really make sure that I'm choosing the correct line for my putt. So I got this about a ball to the right of the hole, breaking to the left. I'm just trying to execute a good putt, put a really good roll on it, and actually sink the birdie. So excitement. Birdie number 2 on the back. 2 birdies in 3 holes, actually. So, yeah, score is down to 4 over now. We're kind of making a comeback. This is probably the last challenging hole of the day. Obviously, the last 2 left. The par 5 18 is pretty easy hole, especially without the wind. But this hole is pretty difficult. It plays slightly into the wind from the left. It's uphill, and the green is kind of like there's a 2 tiers to the green. So there's like that you can't really see, but let's say 10 feet right of the flag where that mound's in the back, the green kind of slopes to the right and the left. There's like a big mound in the middle. So you really have to choose the correct side. So I'm going to be aggressive here and try and hit a really good shot. I got a 3-iron in my hands. I'm trying to carry this about 205 up the hill, a little into the wind. I hit a pretty good shot, but as you saw the grass fly a little bit deep there, so I caught the ball a little fat. Ended up being just short. But again, this is not a bad leave. It's pretty simple chip. My lie was not terrible. I decided to go a little high shot, a little soft bouncer, and it's perfect. Pretty much a kick in for par. The angle of which, and that was a 58 degree for those who are asking, or for those who are wondering. But really, like, I try and use as many wedges as I can, and that's one thing I'm trying to learn to get better at as well, is use different lofts. And by different lofts, I mean more like a pitching wedge, 9-iron, 8-iron to make chips sometimes for the ones I want to roll out. It's something I'm still trying to get better at because in Cali, you didn't really see that. You had a lot of soft conditions. It was more about kind of like pick areas near the hole where you want the ball to kind of bite and stop. But in Texas, because the ground's so hard, it's one thing that I've been trying to get used to. So 18, as you can see, a beautiful hole, a lot of bunkers, really trying to put one in the fairway. It's a very reachable par 5. I think it's like 520 or 530 at most. So I'm going to try and, the wind's not very up right now, so I'm going to try and absolutely smash one down the middle and do just that. It's probably like, as far as contact's concerned, it's probably one of the better ones of the day. Just absolutely smoking. You're even going to see a little smirk on my face because that's probably the furthest I've hit on this hole. it got a big bounce from the right side of fairway and kicked forward, and now I got about, I think this is 185 front, 190 flag, um, and this is a really big green. So the ball's a little above my feet, and that's one thing that I didn't really take into account enough. As you can see by my feet alignment, I'm kind of aiming for the left side of the green. I was kind of going for like trying to hit a straight shot, maybe 10, 15 right of flag, but again, just get a little ahead of it, and I'm not too pleased because at this point I thought it was going to bunker, but I caught enough of the ball to carry it from bunkers, and ended up basically pin high to the left. And again, if my putting was on today, I feel like my round would have been extremely great, but most of my putting, even my lag putting, wasn't that great. But yeah, we're what? This probably around, I think, 30, 35 feet for eagle, just barely off the green. At this point, I probably should have chipped this, but because it's uphill and downhill, I decided to putt it, and I just get too cute with it and don't hit it hard enough to get it uphill for it to roll down, and I leave myself that same putt that I missed like 4 times today, which is like the 4 or 5 footer that slopes, that breaks left to right. And as you can see, even though I've made a few putts down the stretch here, this is a whole, I mean, it sucks, but like my mental was like, oh my god, I'm next to the green in 2 shots. I cannot mess this up. There's no way I'm not coming out here with birdie. And 9 times out of 10 I probably would have, but yeah, as you can tell with the way I'm speaking right now, this one ain't gonna look too good. Actually, to be fair, I put probably a better putt than I have in the last few holes on this one, at least the last couple of misses. But just again, just having issues with committing to the left to righters, those are really difficult for me. Just really coming from a committal standpoint. I used to see the line rolling end over end more or less, and then just underread it. And yeah, very frustrated player right there. And a par 3, well, 2.5, I guess 3. Well, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. There's a few things that I'll just start off by saying. I'm gonna try and add shot tracers for the next one I'll make. That's one feedback that I've gotten from a lot of people. Really trying to make sure you guys can see the ball, because it's kind of lame. You kind of see the ball fly a little bit off the club face, but you don't really see it kind of land and do much. So I'm gonna see what I can do to try and edit some of those in, and see if I can do. I'll look online and see what other people do to try and get the visuals a little better for you guys as far as the ball is concerned. Another thing I've heard from feedback is that it'd be great to get some on-course commentary, and that's kind of the thing that I found difficult on my own. Since it's hard to kind of set up the camera, I'd have to like kind of set up the camera to talk to it, and then set up the camera for the shot. And I did have a lot of the golf course myself, but there's other groups around, so it's kind of like that's kind of a little more time consuming when you're alone. If I had someone else to kind of just hold the camera and do it before I hit a shot, then that'd probably be a lot easier. But since I'm doing this alone for now, that's something I might have to figure something out. If anyone has insight to that, and if maybe I can just do like a face cam where I'm talking, I can, instead of just putting the audio to the recording, I can show my face and put it in some part of the screen. But yeah, if you guys have any other feedback or to the video, ended up shooting 4 over, which honestly isn't terrible. As a pretty hard golf course from the tips. I think it plays almost 75. I think it's 74.7 and like 100, mid 130 slope, for those who understand what handicapping is. So it was like basically a 1 handicap round almost, which is pretty much scratch golf. So it was pretty good golf on my end, especially considering with the putting. I mean, I didn't count the putts. I probably should have counted the putts. If someone wants to count the putt and laugh at me, go ahead, because I was absolutely atrocious putting round. And shooting 4 over when you're putting that bad is actually, I mean, it just shows kind of how well I was striking the ball and giving myself a lot of chances. But yeah, hope you guys enjoyed it. If you have any comments or questions or things you'd like to ask for golf or anything in general, I'm always open to talk, and hope you guys enjoyed it. And next time, hopefully I'll have a different track and do something else for you guys when I can. Have a good one. Peace.